The show focused on delivering beneficial information on everything to do with products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.
And welcome back to the program. Sterling Fox with you on this episode of Experts on Call, joined in studio by the founder and president of FairTradeWorks. Jim Perkins is my guest. And Jim, it's a real pleasure to have you here. This is a new concept for Vancouver. This probably even in Canadian construction. This is the first time I've ever heard of an organization that is dedicated to assisting the consumer at every step of a process. You made a point earlier, and I think it warrants repeating. There seems to be an inclination in the construction industry to keep the consumer in the dark. It's all terribly mysterious, and we're not going to give you too many details. That way we can charge you pretty much what we feel like. And consumers have become kind of alienated by that attitude that it's a big black mystery thing on the part of the industry. Now, to be fair, the whole industry isn't that way,
right.
But there's enough of that going on that people, consumers who are looking to improve their lives, build a new home, renovate an existing home, maybe make an addition, build a cottage up at the lake, whatever, people are skeptical and suspicious
right.
of the construction industry because of those stories about, well, they never said anything about that, and we got the bill, and holy cow, I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
So what is different about FairTradeWorks? First of all, we talked about the fact that when approached by a potential customer, you sit down and have a conversation with them, either in your office or you pop over to their place and have a walkthrough.
Yep.
You get a feel visually and personally for what this person's trying to accomplish. And that's all free.
Right.
And then what?
Well, quickly, you made a couple of great points there. The big black hole they call the construction industry, the consumer. It's, like you said, it's people are so uneducated about it, and there are so many fantastic construction companies out there, and I know a lot, and I work alongside them, and
Sure.
a lot of them work internally in FairTradeWorks in our system, which is that's the whole system that we set up, and the system itself, made another interesting point about it. It is brand new. I recently did an article in BC Business in the January edition about my new company, and the guy that interviewed me travels the world interviewing construction companies and reporting on the construction industry, and he said after 10 years reporting, he's never seen anything like this, and what we have is literally groundbreaking across, not just in Canada, but around the world, and it's,
I certainly hadn't heard of anything like this before.
Absolutely not, and the model, as an ambitious company, we're obviously based in Greater Vancouver, but we're racing across the country now and plan to take it to different nations and across the world, but
Okay, so back now, you've got me. I'm now. I've had that meeting with one of your advisors. You refer to these people as advisors. These people go out and visually walk through the proposed construction project.
Correct.
At which point, there's not an estimate served up at all, is there? There's what's the next step? Because obviously, if you're gonna do this, the bottom line burning in your heart is how much is this going to cost me? That's all you care about, except. Not really, right. Because you want quality. You want bang for your buck.
Yeah. Value, value is a big word. We stick away from price. Value is our whole company is based around value and transparency. So we send out one of our construction advisors, and these guys are literally worldwide individuals. I'm a young fella, right, and I really want to restart the industry with a new generation. That's what we are. We are the new generation of construction builders.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got guys in my office from Northern Ireland who, Connor Doyle, who's built pilot training centres in Ireland and state-of-the-art old folks homes, residential construction. Gary Kwong from China, who's worked overseas on large projects, but they're all at your fingertips. They're at our consumers' fingertips. It's not like we charge a premium for them. These guys are real experts with real experience, real education, and the new generation. They're tech savvy, they're forward thinking, and they're aggressive. Customer service based. And these are the kind of people we send to your home. And you're right. The first consultation is a really easy chit chat, free of charge. We just walk through the scope of the project, and the homeowner gives, in layman's terms, what they would like to do, what was their vision.
Right, and then you said at that point the advisor will tell you maybe you're going to need an architect, or
Right.
maybe you're going to need an engineer,
Absolutely.
or a professional with skills that are going to be required if you want this job done properly.
Absolutely. Of course, we stick by the municipal permit system. So yeah, we tell them you need an architect, you need an engineer, you need to go through the permit system, and we shed the light on that, how much it's going to cost. You need to do this to take your project to fruition, and I have a pool of engineers, architects. So at the beginning, if it shows that it's needed, that we need these professionals involved, we will then recommend a partnership with a certain engineer, with a certain architect,
Right.
at a certain price point. So again, the consumer doesn't have to go on the internet or call friends and do all this almost wasted research with no real end goal. They're still in the dark. They still have to flick through the yellow pages, so to speak, and try and muddle their way through to a professional with no real education behind it.
But not every project is going to require an engineer or
Absolutely
an
not.
architect.
Yep.
So again, you're not trying to fob something off that is unnecessary, or an unnecessary add-on just for the sake of racking up the bill.
Certainly not. We don't profit off of that service. It's free of charge. We basically we put our consumer in a partnership with people that are going to get them to their end goal in the
Okay.
most efficient, timely, cost-effective, and transparent manner. Right. So that's what our first meeting or two is all revolved
Okay,
around.
so now let's just assume that I'm the consumer here,
Right.
and boy, am I a good one for this, because I am my own worst enemy with any kind of tool in my hand, and I don't know anything about construction. I'll be perfectly honest with you, and yet I know what I like when I see something that's well built and go, gee, if only I could afford that, I sure would. So let's assume that my time is now over, and my meeting with your advisor is complete.
Right.
I don't need an engineer.
Right.
I don't need an architect. What I need is a construction crew to come in here and do this job.
Right.
How does that work?
Right. So from there, the advisor, our first job at FairTradeWorks and our advisors is to create a scope package, which basically documents exactly everything that has to be done in your project. Whether from the scope of work, from the plumbing, the electrical, the fixtures, the fittings.
All the details.
All the details, exactly. Details is a great word. We detail this scope package out, and we present it to you. We explain it to you. This is what you need to get from A to Z in your construction project to create your end product, your vision.
Mm-hmm.
We agree on that. We sign off on that, and that is basically step one. That's a very important step. So it's very transparent for you what you're paying for, or what you propose to pay for. And also what the contractors and trades will be tendering on, right?
So you get a complete written description
Correct.
of your project.
Documented.
Here's what I want to do. You bring in a pro, and these are all the steps that are going to be required to get you to where you want to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have that roadmap now in your hand.
Right.
What's the next step? You got to bring some people in and get the work done.
Next step is we push out. Another thing we need to talk about is that this whole system, the FairTradeWorks system, is software driven. I researched around the world for software which I could use and buy the rights to and change to drive this system, but I found bits and pieces that I wasn't happy with, so I went about to custom built some software to drive this process myself, and I have two software developers in my office full time.
So are you going to tell me that you've got all those cool toys that they have on those home shows on television with the laptop that does the 3D imaging of the room or the changes you want to make, and you can do colors and all that forward stuff, all that new tech stuff?
Absolutely, we have all that stuff in our pockets.
Terrific.
We run a paperless office, and my design team upstairs, an architect team, they use a 3D modeling software, which as a homeowner, again, looking through layman's eyes, you can't visualize anything on a 2D model
Right.
of a floor plan. We come into your home, we measure up the home. Within a few days, we populate it into a virtual space, which then we can all work upon, and the homeowner can really visualize exactly what their end product is going to look like
Okay.
in a 3D rendering, right? So it's very exciting. It's very stimulating. It's
Well, that would be exciting, because you get the complete list, the entire project documented,
Yeah.
and that's a plus.
Yep.
and then you get these 3D pictures of what it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
Now that's energizing. That's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just what we offer. You know, we don't charge any premiums for this. That's just how we envision it should be done. Because
well, it's 2013 here.
Exactly.
Things are changing.
Things are changing fast. You know, and I'm a big tech freak, and the industry I think is lacking in that technology compared to other sectors. So again, that's another sector of what I'm doing is bringing the whole industry up to speed on the tech side and using all these great tools that are out there, packaging it all up and using it to drive forward for the efficiency and the productivity of everybody, you know. So we have that scope package bundled up, documented in a
3D rendering.
3D rendering plus all the scopes, all the drawings, all electronically, and then I click a button once the homeowner agrees on it, and it gets pushed out to tender to all our approved contracts and trade pool, which when I say we're not a construction company, we're a construction intermediate company. That's what we are. We don't have in-house contracts and trades. We go through the approval process. All the existing companies in Vancouver have come to us. We've put them through a heavily screen process.
Sure, everyone's been carefully vetted.
Correct.
So FairTradeWorks is not a construction company in and of itself.
Right.
So you have... so when you put a project out to tender
right.
on behalf of me, the person wanting to get this work done,
yeah.
how many companies get to bid on it? Is there a limit, or do you just throw it out there?
No limit. We throw it out there when the contracts and trades sign up, and we've put them through our strict vetting process.
Sure.
You know, again, the software, they check on what they would like to bid on, so they're really specialising in what they do best. You know, so it's not a free for all. And each scope is different, whether it be a small renovation, whether it be a new home construction, whether it be we're building a restaurant. You know, it's it gets pushed out to the right people, the specialists, and as many contracts and trades can bid on it as they wish, you know, and obviously we have a lot of people signed up, so the more the better for the homeowner, because it does drive that competition, and then these guys compete for that tender. They under the scope package, they go to their advisor to ask questions, because their construction advisor for that given project is very obviously educated in what's going on, so we can answer questions to our contracts and trades in a very efficient manner that, you know, the contracts and trades aren't calling the homeowner and saying,
right.
well, and the homeowner doesn't want to deal with all these phone calls and questions that they don't know the answers.
Well, that's true. That's the problem. If somebody's calling me
yeah.
on a construction technical question
yeah.
about my house, I'm sorry, my answer is going to be, I don't know.
Yeah. So some decisions do need to come from the homeowner, but because we work with the homeowner at the beginning, we have all these questions answered. So we bounce back and forth very efficiently to make sure that everybody is bidding apples to apples, and everybody submits in the same template on the software. So when we get the tenders through, it's all very transparent. It's all broken out, and
then do you sit down with the homeowner or the client and go, okay, here are the bids from A to D.
Correct.
And this is the benefit offered by this bid versus that bid. And does the client make the bottom line call based on your recommendation, or how does that work?
It's up to them. We produce the bids blind to the homeowner because and it's proven that everybody trusts in our system. So when they get the bids, they don't need to know who the company is. They don't have to research the company.
Right.
They know they're all insured. They have WCB. They have a past record of happy clients, and they can stick with timelines. And they have, you know, all you know, lots of long-term employees, and they've been in business for 5 years. And, you know, our vetting process is very heavy. So yeah, the bids are submitted to the homeowner, and we present them with the 3 lowest, most competitive bids. And because that scope package is documented at the beginning, we know that these numbers equate to the scope package, and this contract signed that you know, bind the people bidding on the project to these numbers. So yeah, then the homeowner basically, it's their choice, but we're assuming they're going to pick one of the 2 lowest bids to move forward, because all the work's been done for them. They basically have to look at the number, make sure that it's within their budget.
Sure, of course.
And then they can move forward with the next stages of the machine. So
this is an exciting way of doing business in Metro Vancouver and British Columbia, and soon to be across Canada. The company is called FairTradeWorks. Its founder and president is Jim Perkins, in studio with me, Sterling Fox, here on Experts on Call. There's lots more ahead. Stay with us.
Delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call. And there's more still ahead on AM 650.